but we do have this video from 43-year-old Donald Trump in 1989.
I've said on occasion, even about myself, if I was starting off today, I would love to be a well-educated black, because I really believe they do have an actual advantage today.
And joining our discussion now, Franklin Leonard, a film executive and founder of The Blacklist, and Jason Johnson is back with us. And Franklin Leonard, there's Donald Trump in 1989 saying, I would love to be a well-educated black because I really believe they do have an actual advantage today. Any hints of racism in that?
I mean, look, I've said for several years now that when you're accustomed to privilege, equality feels like oppression, but it is not. And I think what's most remarkable about this is that we're not even talking about equality in any practical sense. We're talking about the hints of the beginning of progress towards equality. And yet in 1989 and still in 2018, you hear this sort of victimization narrative from the White House and also really animating the entire white supremacist movement in this country. Look, I'm very happy to be what I would imagine that Donald Trump would consider a well-educated black, but there's no evidence to back up that claim. I think Dr. Sandy Darity at Duke's actually done amazing work sort of disputing the myth that education solves the wealth gap in this country. Being a well-educated black, we'll assume that means a college graduate, roughly equates in terms of median income to being a high school dropout if you're white. I also think it's notable that this quote, this interview came, I believe it's late 1989, which is roughly contemporaneous with Trump's public comments about the Central Park Five. So at the same time he's claiming he would rather be a well-educated black, he's also calling for maximum punishment for 5 black men who were innocent of a crime, and we know that now.
Professor Jason Johnson, I think he was talking about you, if I'm listening to him, and Harvard graduate Franklin Leonard. But listen to what John O'Donnell, who I'm not related to, who worked for Donald Trump, what he wrote in his book called Trumped about Donald Trump. And this is about Donald Trump's own attitude toward educated black men working in his business. There's a passage where in the book where O'Donnell writes, quotes Trump saying, "Black guys counting my money. I hate it. I think that the guy is lazy, and it's probably not his fault because laziness is a trait in blacks." And so that's how the black accountants were treated in one of Donald Trump's casinos when he actually saw an educated black man working as an accountant.
Yeah, imagine what he thinks of non-educated black people. I mean, like, I guess Omarosa or Ben Carson. Look, here's the thing about Donald Trump. It's not just that he's a racist, right? That's already a given. It's that he's even more racist than people that we know are racist. He got sued by the Nixon administration for housing discrimination. I mean, like, Nixon came up with the Southern strategy. You know, he picked Jeff Sessions to be his attorney general. Jeff Sessions was too racist for Republicans 30 years ago. I mean, you know, in his explanation that, well, I haven't said this word or this, that, or the other. Look, at the end of the day, we don't need a tape to know that Donald Trump is racist. I was at the Unite the Right rally in Washington, D.C. on Sunday. I didn't hear anybody say the N-word, but I'm pretty sure those guys were still racist. So the idea that he can hide or dance around this, or that he makes some distinction between educated and non-educated black people, is an absolute lie.
Franklin Leonard, a wise man of show business who worked with Donald Trump in the entertainment business, knows him very well, said to me today that there's absolutely no doubt that Donald Trump pulled his move on John Brennan today to change the subject from Omarosa and make sure that the questions today were not about is there a recording of Donald Trump using the N-word.
I mean, of course he did. I mean, this is the playbook we see time and time again. Something happens. We got to have a distraction. It's fascinating that they have them on file now, ready to go, undated, ready to release. And I'm sure we'll see it many more times.
Well, because of their incompetence, it actually was dated, and it was dated July 26th. We actually see on the document that they've been sitting with this since July 26th, waiting for the day they needed to block something. And Franklin, it seems that Omarosa was what they needed to block the most.
I mean, look, I think this is just typical of the incompetence of the administration. On some level, I think I'm happy about it because it means that we actually find out the things that we need to find out. But just as the hiring of Omarosa indicates incompetence, the sort of trail that she left throughout the administration would indicate that as well. This is par for the course.
Franklin Leonard and Jason Johnson, thank you both for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
And when we come